welcome to another episode of the HaskinCast podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin. Wow, my voice just cracked there. It never happens on the intro, but it's probably just because I'm so excited to be able to get back one of my favorite guests, Laura Pursell, coming off of her big concert in Nashville. Laura, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me back.
I have to apologize. I wanted to get you back like right after the concert, and things got kind of crazy on my end. So I just kind of pushed all the interviews back a little bit, but I'm so glad you're here today. I want to hear all about it. But first, how are you doing?
I am doing great. And, you know, it's when you put something this big together, you always have this kind of anticlimactic come down. It's like, oh, I can exhale. Mm-hmm. Then it's like, oh my gosh, what's next? What am I going to do next? Yeah. I got to have something pipeline. So I've actually been working with my friend and publicist, Lindy Winter, on creating a follow-up show. I want to build on what we did because it went so well. It was so successful, and it was so unique that I want to put together. I can't share too many details because we don't want anybody to steal our idea. But we're definitely going to build on what we did, and I have a lot of things planned.
Good.
Lots of things. And one of the things that I can talk about, I want to do this show with a focus on memory care and Alzheimer's and dementia and the healing power of music. And so we're exploring lots of different avenues to pursue that. We're putting together a sizzle reel from the show, from both shows, because, you know, I did the one in Los Angeles and I did the one in Nashville, and I've got a lot of content and a lot of footage. So we're putting all that together. It takes some time, but we're moving ahead.
Excellent.
And it was a once in a lifetime show. Especially the one in Nashville was just, it was emotional, and we had a packed house, and it was just beyond anything I could have possibly hoped for.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions was, were you able to get the footage? I know you had it planned, but I also know how things go, and sometimes they don't always work out, but you did get a good recording.
Oh yeah, we got it. What he did was he recorded my portion of the show. He recorded each individual song independently. So you don't hear a lot of the introductions. We don't have the entire show as it happened. We have all of the songs that I performed.
Okay.
So that's what we have. I kind of wish I had gotten a little bit more B-roll footage. The rehearsals were so fantastic. Charlie McCoy, who opened for me, was just off the charts brilliant. He's just so good. And he's a legendary harmonica player, one of the last guys still performing and out there from the golden days of Music Row. And he was just so great. I am so sorry that I do not have that on camera, on film. But I do have somebody did videotape our rehearsal on their iPhone. You have that, and I want to upload it. I think that was really special.
Well, you know what you could always do in this day and age of people not actually watching things when they happen, but making sure that they film them. There's chances that there are people out there that have that footage. You could always reach out through your socials and see if somebody's got it.
You're right. We did a duet called Lover's Key that Charlie had written, and we rehearsed it one time, and then we performed it, and it was so fun, and it was such a joy to share the stage with him. And he was playing guitar. I really hope somebody comes forward with that footage. I only have the rehearsal, so I really want to see it. So if anyone's listening to this and they were at the show and you taped that performance, please let Scott know.
Yeah, that's right. Write me at scott@scotthaskin.com. Let me know what you've got. I will get that information over to Laura, or just go to Laura's website. That link is in the show notes, and you can write her directly. As you can tell, she's awesome and so much fun to talk to. So you guys rehearsed it once and then just went out and did it. Do you find that's more comfortable than rehearsing it 3 or 4 times and getting really comfortable? Is it better to just let it be spontaneous and happen?
It totally depends on the genre. And this tune actually was more of a little jazzy tune. It had a jazz structure to it. And it was just so in my wheelhouse. And it was such an easy song to sing. I knew we would only need one rehearsal. So we had one rehearsal at my house. He came over. And then, of course, he played me all sorts of other songs that he had written. We had such a great time. And then of course, we did one run through at the venue right before the show. Mm-hmm. And so technically, I guess we had two. We had two rehearsals. The second one was with the band. Mm-hmm. It was so easy. All I had to do was memorize the lyrics. And he had sent me the track. And of course, I played it over and over in my car for 2 weeks. So I knew it. I knew it backwards and forwards. And I still sing it down on Lover's Key. It's so sweet.
But when you get on stage and you're in front of a crowd and everybody's got the adrenaline going, it's not the same song that you've been rehearsing at home. It's a little elevated, a little faster.
It is. You got to keep the tempo down. And then you think, oh my gosh, I hope I really do have these lyrics. I hope I think I have them. But on a show like this, a lot of singers will have music stands with cheat sheets or lyrics or a teleprompter. I refuse to do that. I won't do that. I think it for me, I'm not judging anybody else, but for me, I think it holds me back and keeps me chained to a piece of paper. And I really want to be free and move and communicate with the musicians and the audience and not be hampered by reading lyrics.
I like that.
Yeah, the 2 weeks before, I just hammered it. And I have so much training in theater and monologues and being on stage that to me, it's so part of my DNA. Mm-hmm. I have to do that. And and I like it. It's kind of a challenge, you play a little game with yourself.
I think, though, just human nature, especially these days, if we have a crutch, we'll use it. Like, people won't bother to do math in their head because they have a calculator in their phone. They're like, I don't need to bother with that. So I think if you set yourself up with that, well, I've got the music on a music stand, I'll be okay. I wonder if there's like some subconscious thing that people wouldn't work as hard to learn it because they know they've got their safety net.
Yeah, it is a safety net. And if you memorize it, it forces your brain to make the connections between the phrases. Mm-hmm. So it's logical. You're telling a story. You're not just memorizing words. There's actually a story that you're telling. Mm-hmm. And if you're glued to a page, for me, I can't tell that story. I can tell the story if I have already connected the dots in my head. Right. And I know the story that I'm getting ready to tell.
You could relay a story, but you couldn't tell the story.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get inside of it. I couldn't, So it forces you to make those connections to get under the skin of the story and hopefully we'll feel something. You want the audience to feel something.
And if there's anybody that's still not convinced not to do that, I'll give you another factor that people oftentimes don't think about when you do your rehearsals, even if you're on stage with, wherever you're going to perform. The house lights are typically still on, and you don't know what the lighting is actually going to be like where your music stand is until you're performing.
So true. And I would have been in big trouble if I had been relying on a music stand because it was dark. Mm-hmm. It was dark. Yeah. There was a set list written on the floor in front of the monitor, which we all looked to make sure we were on the same page. We were all doing the same song. Mm-hmm. But wow, if I had had a music stand, I would have been in trouble for sure. I would have needed a light. And who wants a light when you're, forget it.
If you're playing with an orchestra, like if it's like a full 60-piece orchestra, that's fine because, that's just kind of acceptable there. But outside of that, it looks like you didn't do your work.
I know. Now the musicians, they all did have music stands with lights. And I did have 8 string players. I had 6 violins and a viola and a cello. And so they all had their lights on but they, of course they should. I don't want them to play the
Right. Well, now let me ask you though, from where you were at on the stage, how was the sound for you? Were you able to hear everything clearly? Did you have any challenges?
I did have a few challenges. When you have that much sound behind you, it is a wall of sound. Mm-hmm. I have 2 guitars, a bass, drums, piano, a loud piano, and 8 strings. So even though the monitor was up pretty loud, I just kept hanging on thinking, I hope I'm in tune. I hope I'm in tune because I'm not hearing, I'm hearing enough of myself, but I'm not, it wasn't It wasn't as if I was in a room with one or two instruments. It was definitely a little bit more of a challenge.
Right. And of course, the engineers boost the low end, expecting that the crowd is going to soak some of that up and it'll sound really good in the crowd area. But you, as the person who's not in the crowd, gets the low end. So you've got a lot of low end pushing through your area.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to Pat Bergeson, who's one of the guitar players. I said, "Was I on pitch? I'm hoping I was on pitch." And he said, "You were on pitch." Of course, if I wasn't on pitch, would he tell me that I wasn't on pitch? He might not tell me. I don't know if I would tell me, but he said that I was on pitch. And I tend to trust Pat's opinion. So I think I was.
And it wouldn't do any good because you're going to watch the performance. It's like you would know if he was not telling you the truth.
I know. I saw the performance. Yeah. There are a couple of notes. So I'm like, it started to slide a little bit there, but I caught it.
Okay.
I know anybody else would have, but I'm really very happy with it. The videos are really beautiful. And oh my gosh, this is something that's hilarious. I did not know until 10 minutes before the show started what I was going to wear. I could not make my mind up.
Wow.
I had different dresses and I loved them both. I couldn't decide what to do. I didn't want to overdress, but then again, I wanted to make a statement. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing a costume change and I wore both.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. Good. So I wore a pretty blue dress for my duet with Charlie. Mm-hmm. And then he finished his set. And I ran backstage and put on a floor-length red gown.
Classic.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It really did. And it was such a good choice. I really lucked out on that because everyone else was so dark and they were wearing black that it really, really popped. Yeah. And it fit the genre. And I had a screen behind me where we showed pictures, images of my dad. Growing up with my dad. So it really, really was a tribute to him. And it was so moving.
For sure. I'm so glad that worked out. But that's the kind of dress, if I think back to it and I think about your voice, how your voice sounds, you could have had a great career back in the days of when they had the lounge singers that would lay across the piano, go out and work the crowd.
Absolutely. I was born in the wrong decade, truly.
Well, I'm glad we have you now, though.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a fan of that.
I really would have loved to be, singing in the realm, the era of the great torch singers. That really would have been my thing. Well, that would have been
make a comeback.
Believe me, that's part of the plan.
Oh, good.
That's what I'm gonna find those places. And I want to celebrate all that great music, all that older music, I really do.
Yeah. What I loved about that era is that you had such a personal connection with the artists as they walked by and, they would take their glove hand and pat you on the head or whatever they would do, or they would just look into your eyes and everybody in the crowd got that one-on-one moment with the singer. Yeah. We don't get that anymore. I mean, we don't even come close to that anymore.
Oh gosh. Well, not with these huge arenas and concerts and the style of music. I guess you don't.
Now, how far could you see out from the stage into the crowd?
I could only see the first 2 rows, possibly 3.
Wow, that's not much.
It's not much. So I could hear them, and I knew there were a lot of people there, and I could see a few people upstairs. But it was a full house. It was a full house. At least downstairs, it was full. And we actually did well. We made money, which is shocking.
Good. Excellent.
We didn't pay to play.
Yeah. Oh, that's always always a heavy plus. But so borderline these days. I mean, even if you sell 75% of the venue, a lot of times you don't even break even. It's pretty risky to do concerts nowadays.
It really is. It's very, very expensive. And the ticket price was not much. It was $15.
Yeah, that's nothing.
I mean, unbelievable. I couldn't believe we didn't ask for more, but we didn't. But we still did really well, but people did buy drinks and dinner and all of that. So I think people did spend some money, but
honestly, if you would have charged $40 or $50 a ticket, I wouldn't have said, "Oh, Laura, no." I would have thought that was reasonable. So 15 is just kind of insane.
Yeah, well, I think so too. I think moving forward, that will be a thing of the past. I don't think that's. And when we did the concert in LA, it was free. Nobody paid
Oh,
anything.
wow.
Yeah, at the Hard Rock Cafe. And I'm trying to remember why we did that. I think if we charged the venue, and to rent the venue was something like $25,000. It was just crazy. Like
Yeah.
who can do? So yeah, it was a free concert. It was the debut album. And I kept telling people, guys, this never happens. String section, free ticket.
Hmm.
All you get is down to Hollywood. And I still had a hard time getting a lot of friends to come on a Saturday morning. It was
25 is crazy because the Hard Rock is not that big. It doesn't have that big of a capacity. You'd have to charge a really exorbitant amount to hope to break even.
oh yeah, yeah. It was nuts. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I needed a place. I needed a stage that was big enough to hold all those violins. That's the problem. I
Right.
couldn't do a small venue.
Hmm.
So Hard Rock Cafe had the big venue, and they did a beautiful job, and it was wonderful, and the sound was good, and no complaints. It's been a wild few months, I'll tell you.
Was
But
that is that the one that's over by what is it, the City Walk in Anaheim?
no, it's the one in Hollywood
Oh, the
by the
Hollywood one.
Kodak. Yeah, right where they do the Oscars.
Hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
very
it's
nice.
the Man's Chinese Theater, and
Mhm.
handprints in the cement and all of that. It's all in that area. And the thing is, it's parking is a nightmare, and you have to walk a long way. And it's Hollywood, so
Mhm.
a lot of people go, I don't want to go to Hollywood. It
Yeah,
was
but man,
fine.
there's some great shows that go out there. I have a little bit of a personal connection with the Chinese theater. When I moved to LA, that was the first place I did a red carpet, and I don't even remember what the film premiere was. But also, my music is played in a film that was shown in that theater. So that's I was commissioned to write the intro piece for a film, and when I found out it was being shown there, I was like, "That's a dream come true for me right there,
Oh yeah,
milestone moment."
I had to be there for that.
I
You
wish I
had to be
could have been. Yeah, I unfortunately wasn't able to
there for
go,
that. Oh man,
but still,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. I just the fact that I got played there, that's huge to me.
That's huge. That's a milestone. That's a bucket list item for sure.
So, how many songs did you end up performing?
I did, let's see, how many did I do? I did 10 off the album,
Mhm.
and then three additional 13, and then the duet with Charlie, 14. I think I did 14 songs.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I had my friend Julia Holland came out, and she was my guest singer, and she did Since I Fell for You,
Mhm.
a song that she recorded with my father back in 1999 or 2000.
Mhm.
So that was really special. It was fun. It was enough. It was enough. And Charlie did 45 minutes.
Wow.
His Yeah, he did Orange Blossom Special and Choo Choo Boogie. And I mean, he was so great. I hope I get to work with him again. And if there's a place for him in the show moving forward, I would be so delighted if he would join us.
Yeah. Well,
I'd
I
be
mean, he's in a position where he could just come out and do it. He wouldn't need, a week of rehearsals or, time with
oh,
everybody. Like he could just come out and do it on the fly.
we have the same band. We use the same players. It's
Oh,
the
perfect.
same.
Well, see,
Perfect.
then he can't be out playing somewhere else because you've got his band.
Well, that's true. I did not even think about that.
There's your in right there. I've got your
You're
band. If you want them back,
right. Unless he's playing at the Grand Ole Opry. And he does
uh,
play at the Grand Ole Opry several times a month. And he gets me tickets. So I've
hmm,
seen him twice now at the Grand Ole Opry. He's so good.
how
And I don't think that's his band. I think that those are the Opry band.
the house
But
band, yeah.
good players.
Oh,
The
sure.
Grand
How
they got it covered.
how is the sound there? I would imagine it's like really
It's
vintage sounding. Like,
it is so well. I don't know if you call it vintage because it's in a big arena, a big theater
mhm,
out in Opryland, and it's state of the art, beautiful. It's great sound. It's fantastic sound. It's clear. It's big. It's
mhm,
not too loud. I think the balance is great, and it's a radio show.
mhm.
The show is an actual radio show being
Oh,
broadcast on them, and so they do their ads. This show has been brought to you by Pontiac dealership. And
wow.
now back to the next act. And you're really sitting in on a radio show, and it's been that way for over 100 years,
Mhm.
19, almost 1927, I think, is the
Yeah.
first broadcast
Mhm.
of the Grand Ole Opry.
And what a rich history that place has. I mean, who is who that hasn't played there?
Oh my gosh. You know what? A dream of mine would be to play the Grand Ole Opry. Just one song, just one song. Just get me on stage one time.
Do it.
Oh, I think Charlie would have to help me with that.
I don't see a problem. I give me his
Oh,
number. I'll call him up and like, here's what we're gonna
oh,
do. We're gonna get
I
Laura
could
up there.
die
You pick
tomorrow
the
if I
song.
just get on that stage one time. I would be so I could die. That would be it.
Well, how is it for you? Like if you're so you did, 10 songs off the album, the first song that you go out and do, because you're an experienced singer. Do you get the butterflies? Do you get that, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out, I need a drink of water before I walk out? Like what is that for you when you're about to go out for the first song?
That's such a good question. Well, keep in mind I had already done a duet with Charlie.
True.
So I had already kind of warmed that up. So
Mhm.
that was kind of a nice little dipping my toe in the water moment.
Mhm.
And then when I came out, I think there's always a heightened sense of, here we go, here we
Mhm.
go. And I said, they were going to introduce me. And I said, you know what? Don't. They know who I am. Don't introduce me. I'm just going to walk out and start singing.
Mhm.
I did.
Yeah.
And everything got really dark. And they brought the lights down and they brought the lights up on a beautiful black and white photo of my dad. And then I walked out and I just started singing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's what it should have been.
So yeah, this is just amazing. Did you have because this is kind of like a one-off event, did you have merch for people to purchase? Did you have anything available for the crowd?
I had CDs,
Hmm.
which of course, and I was caught up in the moment of things and I totally forgot to mention the CDs. Totally forgot to mention. So we sold a few
Hmm.
at the door. Oh, Laura has CDs. I didn't talk about the record at all. It was all about my dad. So we did sell a few.
Hmm.
But you know what? People don't buy CDs as much anymore.
Yeah, they really
They
don't.
don't buy them, Scott. They don't have them. So I have all these CDs that we have printed, and I can sell them autographed. I do have quite a few left over. So, and it's a gorgeous CD. But that's the only merch that we had. I didn't have time to put together, stickers or T-shirts or coffee cups or
Right.
anything. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll when I come up with the next incarnation of this show, and the name of it, I think we will have more merch.
One thing that I've heard, because I'm not a touring musician anymore, but I have heard that bands are really making more of their survival money on the merchandise than they are the actual concerts. It used to be
Wow.
the album was the thing that would get the people to go to the concert so you could make money. And now it's like the merch is the thing that you have the concert for so you can make money as a musician. It's really changed.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have that kind of merch. I wonder what kind of merch they sell. What are they
Like
selling? Because
t-shirts, bumper stickers,
yeah,
I don't even know how popular bumper stickers are anymore, but there's like any sticker kind of thing seems really popular these days.
yeah,
Yeah, it's such a different world than
it
what
really
I
is.
know.
I guess. Yeah, and probably t-shirts, baseball caps,
Hmm.
coffee cups. That
Coffee
would be the
cups,
thing.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, when I'm ultra famous, I'll have to do that. I'm not there yet, but that's okay. That's all right.
You can
I
always
just
have
want to
a
get to
few
show up
on
on a street.
hand, for the people that want one, and then you can see how they're selling and go, okay, well, these are doing better than I thought, and get more or
Exactly.
whatever, however it works.
Yeah,
But it's just like any kind of retail thing, really. You kind of have to just test the waters and see. And the other thing you have to consider too is from different venues that you go to in different cities. Who's your crowd? Is it a different crowd that you had from one place to another? Because that's going to affect the type of merchandise sales you get too.
true, true. And we want to put this show in other places, Nashville, but
Mhm.
beyond.
Yeah.
And we're talking about doing it with symphonies.
Oh,
And wouldn't
lovely.
that be cool? Because I
Yes.
already have all the arrangements for 8 strings. It's such a shoe in,
Hmm.
and to be able to present this music, and not just my music, but all that golden era of the music of Nashville
Hmm.
from the 60s.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I'm going
Well, I
to
would
say.
imagine with at least with your dad's music, there's probably a lot of already arranged parts for like brass and maybe some woodwinds.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
or we can add them. We
Hmm.
can absolutely write those charts. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's I think we have a huge opportunity to put on something really special, something that people are not used to seeing. And we heard that a lot when we were doing the show. People said, we've never seen this. We've never seen a singer get up there with 8 strings in a rhythm section and do these songs. This is amazing. Yeah, it is.
Well, you may have started a new sort of setup, which would be really nice, I know we're a little short on time, so I want to ask you, I know that you guys have really kind of just done the concert. It's a lot of footage to pour over. Do you have an ETA of when you're looking at hoping to release something?
Oh, you mean the actual videos?
For the show, yeah.
Oh, they're on YouTube right now.
Oh, but I mean, are you going to do like a DVD package or?
Oh, you know what? We haven't discussed that. That's a great idea.
Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, to have DVD like package. Some of that, maybe like the rehearsal footage and stuff as a bonus feature on there would be nice. And
that really would. Oh my gosh, Scott gave me a great idea.
Yay.
Combine it with the footage I have from LA.
Exactly. Yeah. You could do like just a combined best of DVD with some footage and interviews.
I'm going to talk to Lindy about that. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah. Well, let me know. Yeah. But for now, I'll put the link in the show notes as well to the YouTube channel. And the stuff that I've seen, I mean, I haven't seen it all yet, but it just warms my heart. Because
oh, Scott, thank you so much.
Well, because we had talked about, I knew how excited you were. I knew how much it meant to you. So to see you actually out there doing this thing that, I was kind of imagining in my head was very special. But just the passion, the unity of everyone on stage, the whole thing was really just a magical night. So
fantastic. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's been so great talking to you.
You too.
Thank you so much for this time.
Always. Well, keep in touch. Let me know as things develop and if there's anything I can do to help. Come back on the show. Let's talk some more. But thanks for coming back. Congratulations on such a wonderful and successful concert.
You warm my heart. Thank you so much for having me on and for following up with me. This is so fantastic. And I'm definitely going to be in touch with you.
Well, we're not done.
We're not done at all.
You have a great day, Laura. Thank you.
You too, Scott.
Bye-bye.
Bye.